Hi everyone, Chad Troop here, and welcome to today's edition of Quick Takes. This is a segment within my Bank It or Take It analysis that I like to perform on companies, but with our Quick Takes videos, instead of covering just one stock like we do on our typical Bank It or Take It videos, we're covering 5 stocks and we're just running through them real quick by taking a look at the price charts, because as a chartered market technician, that's my main focus is the price chart. That's where I tend to zero in on, and even if you don't rely on price charts as much as I do for making your investment decisions and your trading decisions, especially in the short term, then these videos are still helpful just to let you set some lines in the sand for stocks that maybe you're interested in. Because remember, all the stocks that I talk about are stocks that you all have requested below this video. So be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what stock you want me to feature in an upcoming Bank It or Take It video or one of my quick takes. And be sure to give me a thumbs up if you like this content. And don't forget to subscribe. Scroll below, click subscribe, so that way you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. So I got 5 stocks today that have came up in recent videos that you all have commented on that we're going to feature today, and we'll run through real quick just based on the price charts to let you know whether or not these stocks are stocks that I want to bank on going higher or stocks that are set to tank and head lower. So let's start with our first stock here. This is Rambus. Now this is a semiconductor stock, and they're in the tech industry, growth industry, but we don't even really care about that. What we want to look at is this price chart and determine whether or not we want to bank on this stock or it's set to tank and head lower. And I have the colors here of the price chart shaded based on the relative rotation graph. So green means it's leading the market, yellow means it's weakening against the market, and then it turns red eventually because it ends up lagging the market, and then it goes blue to improve again and then back to leading. So we saw it here, it was lagging the market back in early May, then it started to improve through May, and then it started to lead the market, and then it broke out, shot higher, and now it's back up to new 52-week highs. And a lot of investors are scared when stocks hit 52-week highs because they're at all-time highs, and you see it on a chart like this where it's like the stock's trading at the top of the chart, and they almost think of the top of the chart as like a resistance point or a period that it's going to be hard for the stock to continue to climb on. But when we zoom out and we shrink the chart a little bit, you can see that this is a nice uptrend for the stock here, and we're just grinding higher, a little pullback, and then a pop, and now we're breaking out to new 52-week highs, and highs are always bullish. These have to be set in order for the stock to continue heading higher. You never want to really try to buy at the all-time lows, and we'll look at other stocks that are kind of doing that today. But this one's breaking out to new 52-week highs. That's a great bullish sign. We can see a little bit of a pullback, but from here, what we're seeing, this stock is definitely on my bank it list. We can draw a few trend lines just to keep an eye on here as the stock continues to climb higher. This is a low area of support, but basically as long as the stock stays above this, I would keep it on my bank it list. I'm not expecting a pullback that sharp, but this is an area to watch if we start to see a sell-off here in Rambus at any point in the coming weeks. Now, again, breaking out to new highs, bullish. It's on our bank it list. Our next stock is another semiconductor stock. This is Lam Research, and this company is not breaking out to new highs. So you can see that they're in the same industry. They have similar growth patterns from a big picture perspective, but still, this stock is not breaking out to new highs. Instead, it's creating a wedge pattern here, and this doesn't mean that it's exactly bearish for the stock. We can draw some key trends in here that we want to keep an eye on. We have a rising support there to watch, and then we have a resistance that's making it a wedge. So it's a falling resistance line that we'll add on the top, and this creates the wedge pattern that we want to keep an eye on because the breakout's coming. And what I would consider this stock is on my bank it list, and that's because these patterns where we are in a steady climb, and then it goes to a period of consolidation, and that's what triangle patterns, wedge patterns they are, because when you look at the behavior behind the price action, investors are buying the stock up, and then it starts to pull back, but then we have buyers coming in at a higher high, which is bullish, pushing the stock up, but then sellers coming in at a lower low, which is bearish, so they're pushing the stock down. So it ends up creating this consolidation pattern where it's either a period that's about to break out to the upside or about to head lower. But the thing is about most of these patterns is that they tend to be continuation patterns. And that means that if this stock was trending lower and then we kind of get the consolidation, it would typically break out to the downside. Since this one's trending higher and then we got the wedge pattern here to consolidate, I'm expecting a breakout to the upside. So as long as it holds above this green support line, Lam Research is going to be on my bank it list, and we're going to be looking for this stock to head higher here over the next few weeks. You can see we're trading, this was as of Monday on June 21st, so you can see that it was trending here along the bottom of the support line, but this still looks like a good opportunity as long as we get the breakout to the upside. As soon as it breaks below that support, we don't want to touch it anymore. It'll be on my 10-year list, but for now, as long as it's holding, it's a bank it stock. Now our next stock is Proto Labs, PRLB, that's the ticker. And again, you don't have to know much about it. Just look at the price chart. Look at that. That is a classic bubble that we had shoot up, massive rally, more than doubling the stock, and then come crashing back to earth. So that's just crashing back to reality. And now, when you look at a company like this, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's like a meme stock or in this case, probably a biotech stock. Whatever it is, had a big explosion, a massive hype. A lot of investors were sucked into this, and then it crashes. And then all the way down, you would end up getting investors trying to buy on this dip. Now, I never really encourage people to buy on dips just out of a whim. Now, we'll talk to another stock later in this video that kind of works for it, but it's only short term, because you can see here on the way down, there are these little short term pops that you could have seen some quick profits if you're like a day trader, seeing this short term swings, some nice opportunities. Now, what I do like that we're seeing is that it's starting to level off a little bit, so it could balance out and head higher, but I'm a man that likes to look at the trends and where the stock is heading overall based on these trends. And right now, for Proto Labs, that is just simply, it's lower. It's not giving us any bullish indication yet, other than the fact that it's slowing down, but that's not really a reason to be bearish. Instead, it's just a reason to maybe put it on your radar, but by no means is this stock on my bank it list. It's on the tank it list for today, and if you're interested in the company, what I would do is look at a key level, like this area right here. We had a nice bounce off of this price area, and then it crashed below that and hasn't came back up. So that's about $102 a share. If we can get above that, then it'd be interesting to look at if we get that kind of move to the upside. But for now, this is a stock that's going to be on my tank it list. It's one that I just simply don't want to play with and try to see what happens. Now, our next stock is Moderna. This is the vaccine developer. Again, we're looking at some new highs here. This is all-time highs for the stock, breaking out, continuing to trend higher. And when we look at the key trends here for the stock, you can see that it was a solid resistance level for a matter of months that the stock was up against. Came up, hit it, tested it, and then broke out through it, then came back down. And this is what I love to see, is the breakout and then the retest. So it's testing it, and then we break out again. So Moderna is going to be on my bank it list today. This is a great look. I have it as a red resistance, but that was previously. So now it's actually green for support, because the previous resistance, once it gets broken, turns into a key support to keep an eye on. So as long as we're above that key support line, this is a stock that's on my bank it list. And again, don't get stuck to looking at the top of the chart and thinking it's a peak for the price that's about to come up. No, this stock can continue to run much, much higher from here. As long as it stays above this key support line, keep this stock on your bank it list. Now, our last stock for today, Wells Fargo, the banking giant. Now, we talked about this stock in our True Options Masters newsletter. So if you didn't get it, take a look at that, because what we saw is some unusual option activity after the stock experienced this big down day on Thursday. You can see that it opened higher. That's what the candlesticks tell us. But then it closed near the lows. And what we saw late in the day was some traders come in on some of these big bank stocks, talking Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citibank, and they were bullish. They weren't feeding into the chaos. They were coming in, buying hand over fist. We saw $600,000 laid down on Wells Fargo, $1 million laid down on Bank of America. These were big bets placed on very short-term moves, expiring this Friday, the June expirations, looking for nice pops. And you can see that it didn't pay off right away. The stock dropped, then started to come back up, and this was on Monday. And then we'll see what happened the rest of the week. But for now, this was just a big bet, very, very short term. And this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to try to buy on the dips on the way down, you make it extremely short term. They were a very aggressive, just a bet on a quick bounce back from the sharp drop that we had seen. Now, will it pay off or not? That's for us to wait and see coming up this Friday. But for now, it is interesting to see that they were coming in very aggressively and buying those options. Because look at the rally that this stock had been on. This stock was just hammered back in 2020 with the pandemic. But when we zoom out even more, we can see that it was struggling heading into the pandemic. The slope here was clearly to the downside. And when we start drawing in some trend lines, and this is what kind of gets to our bank it or tank it for today, we can see that the key trend here for Wells Fargo is headed lower. This stock is not breaking out by any means based on this longer term trend. Look, it just got back to where it was a year ago, and then where it was 2 years ago, and then where it was 3 years ago. It's basically gone nowhere. So to say that Wells Fargo is a great buying opportunity today, that's a bit extreme. It did go through a massive drop, then it doubled from there. But the fact that that doubling didn't get it back to new highs from the last couple of years, and it's really almost just trying to, and it's barely just getting back to its pre-pandemic highs. So this is a period of caution, I think, for the stock instead of a lot of bullish activity. But when you draw a trend line across the support here, and this is a very steep trend line, but nonetheless, it's one that we want to keep on our radar. And you can see that it tested basically right there where you could kind of connect the dots here on the bottom. And that creates this little key price area where we could clearly tell that this is what the options traders that were coming in and buying those dips kind of saw, that this could be an area of support to see it bounce up. But it's really shaky on this area of support, so I'm not expecting it to hold. So Wells Fargo for me is on my ticket list. And again, I'm not talking about the next couple of weeks. We could see this bounce back up to this red resistance area, play around here with $46, $47. So I'm not saying that over the next couple of weeks it can't rally or it can't fall, but I'm saying 3 months from now, this is a stock that I want to have on my ticket list until it can break above this key red resistance line. It's going to be on my ticket list. So that's all for my video today. And again, take a moment, scroll below, click subscribe, so that way you won't miss on any of my upcoming banking or taking videos or quick takes. And be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what stock you want me to feature in my next video. Just leave a comment right below on YouTube, and I'll go through those, add them to my list, and I'll be sure to mention them in an upcoming video. And if you like the content, just hit the thumbs up to let me know. So until next time, I'm Chad Shoup.